Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Pack the Brew. This one, it's really special. The first time we've ever done it, an interview with Rob Zastryzny, 2025 Brewers reliever, World Series champion, in fact. Rob, appreciates you coming on here.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. I do love talking baseball as much as I can.
Yeah. And the reason that we got here, and this is so dumb and it's kind of funny, it was because of a Ryan tweet talking about the grades of the Brewers this season. It's just kind of a typical content thing that people do. Rob responded to his, and it blew up. It did well.
Yeah, and just to touch on that is I read every single one from start to finish, and I thought to myself, like I'm never going to be mad about what a fan says, especially on-field performance, right? Like it is our job
Right.
to be ready and available and do our job every single day, and if we don't, we get replaced. And as fans of a team, especially if you're as diehard as it seems like you guys are, it's like you want the team to win as badly as we want the team to win, right? Like we're under contract and we're putting our bodies on the lines, but you guys are watching the games. Like we talked right before you started about how you watched all 18 innings yesterday.
Right.
It's like you guys love the sport as much as we do. And so as I was reading the tweet, I could see like the passion in it where it's like the breakdowns were so accurate. And it was like Jared Koenig getting an A is huge for me because at some points during the year, Jared was being told that he's not a back end reliever by fans, or they're like, get rid of Jared, he's terrible, whatever it is. And it's like at the end of the season, you look up and he's a top 10 left-handed reliever in the sport. And it's like just to see some of these unsung hero guys get these good grades by you, it made me want to interact with it, and not in a negative way. Like genuinely, I thought most of them were accurate, but for me, it's like I could care less what people say about me. But seeing guys like Grant Anderson and Nick Mears and Jared Koenig, it's like they go under the radar, and I just don't see how, because they put their bodies on the lines every single day. They all had 70+ appearances. Uribe's in there as well, and it's like just seeing those guys get some recognition from somebody other than the people inside the clubhouse, because inside the clubhouse they're almost revered, right? Like they walk in the building, it's like these guys are the guys in the bullpen, they're the horses out there. And it's like just seeing somebody else have the same view I did, I definitely wanted to like respond to that in any way I could, and I chose the funny way, which it ended up blowing up and everything. And to my surprise, it blew up very positively, you know what I mean? Like on your end, people were like, oh, like love him, he loves the Brewers, and on my end they're like, you did a great job this year. So it ended up being kind of great for both of us.
Yeah, usually if a bigger account, retweets me or quote tweets me, I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna get hate comments now. And I was waiting for something, and I didn't. At least I haven't checked in a week, but I didn't get anything. And obviously, you said yours was mostly positive, so that's great.
Yeah.
And you DM me after it. I DM'd you back, and I'm like, hey, I didn't mean this in a bad way. I wanted to make that very clear to you. So I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Yeah, and it kind of hit close to home for me because that's kind of been the story of my career, right? Like early on in my career with Chicago, I was really good, and then there wasn't a ton of like, hey, we're going to develop this way. The analytical part of the game was super far behind, so I kind of fell behind as far as analytics go. Like my stuff kind of leveled out, and I started pitching more at a league average to below league average level, and then they got rid of me, as they should have. And so ever since then, I've done everything I can to stick in this game, but that's kind of been the story where it's like, good job, nothing super special, but Rob will go out there and get the job done. And it's kind of how I've built the way I view the game, right? Like I'm not ever going to view myself as I should be making $40 million. I should be getting this long-term deal. I view myself as I'm happy to be here, and I'm going to go give you the best amount of innings that you allow me to give you. And if you get rid of me or you DFA me or whatever it is, I'm going to go do that for somebody else. And it just like reading that exact quote from you, it's just kind of like, I take pride in that.
Yeah, that's super cool to hear. We talked about it off air too, and then like Tobias Myers responded to your Instagram saying like, oh yeah, like my A+ pitcher, Koenig saying, oh yeah, like making fun of the grades. How much does like the clubhouse see of social media, and how much of it is worked into like your guys' banter?
Well, you know what? Lately, the X algorithm it's going to show you everything, right? Like I've seen tweets from Ryan from the day that I got to Milwaukee. Like my plane landed, and all of a sudden it's like, this guy's a prominent Brewers account. We're going to put him on your For You page. And so I've seen your tweets. I've seen other ones every single day. And I love Twitter, and I delete it probably 17 to 18 times during the year. Like we go
Yeah.
into a big weekend series in Philly. I'm like, you know what? I don't need is an X account right now. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna deactivate it, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
reactivate it in a week and a half or whatever it is. So just every time that I have it up, it's just we see so much more than you think, right? Like
Right.
the funniest running joke tweet that we have is during some random game for some other team, someone will tweet like, "Hey, there's Nick Mears getting hot out in the bullpen," and dude, it makes me laugh every single time because every time I look down in the bullpen once I'm done pitching, or when I'm on the IL and I'm sitting in the dugout, Nick Mears is in some way getting ready to go pitch into the ball game, and so every day I see that tweet, I send it to Nick Mears, and he sees it and he loves it, and it's like it's our favorite running joke in the bullpen. It's like, hey, go ahead and get Nick Mears hot.
Dude, that is awesome.
Is that tough for Nick Mears or whoever? I mean, he pitched a lot, and you saw a little bit of regression towards the end of the year. Is it tough to have to be ready pretty much every game and go out there as many times as he did?
Well, in 2016 when I debuted, it's like, okay, how do we keep this guy healthy for a full 165 or however many games are? How many? 162?
Mm-hmm.
I should know this. 162. It's so hard to do that nowadays. Now it's like, hey, let's let this guy throw as many innings as we can. And when he starts to regress, we'll slap him on the IL for 15 days, let him recover, and then get a nice little bolt to the finish line. But you just have to be available at all times. And the Brewers do a great job. They make sure that you're feeling good. But the problem is like, there's no value in a guy who can only throw 40 innings out of the bullpen in a year. It's like what
Right.
Grant Anderson did this year has so much value. It's pitched, I think he had 60 or 70 appearances. I think he had 69 and 2/3 of an inning because he was mad he didn't get 70 innings. And it's like, did Grant feel good at any point in the season? Sure. I think April, maybe early May, he's feeling good. And then his body starts to wear on him. His lower body starts to hurt from the use. And then you just kind of do this the rest of the year. And
Yeah.
it's like a guy like Nick Mears, anytime after August 1st, you go, Nick, how you feeling today? There's no answer. It's just one of these. Like, he's not going to tell you he's feeling bad because then he's not going to pitch, but you know he's not feeling good. And it's just going to see him put his body on the line. And it's like true people that go to games and are in the clubhouse, they know that, right? Like everybody has respect for Trevor and everybody has respect for Nick and Uribe and all these guys. But it's like sometimes when I see the outside stuff on Twitter, and it's probably why I delete it so many times during the year, it makes me more mad for them than they get mad at it. But if you understood what went into being a healthy reliever for the full season, you would basically worship these guys. You'd be like, dude, Nick Mears is throwing for the 5th time in 7 days. He's got 4 holds and he's throwing these huge innings for us. And it's like the coaches are essentially begging him to face 3 hitters. They're like, Nick, can you please face 3 hitters today? And Nick's like, I'll spend the next 2 hours getting ready to pitch and I'll do it for you. And like just seeing the way these guys operate, it's why I love playing for the Brewers. It's why being on the Brewers has like rejuvenated my love for baseball. It's because these guys, they're not super billionaires. There's not a lot of huge money guys on the team. So they're all fighting for either their next contract or their next job or just to stay on the Brewers because it's a very competitive team. And it's just rejuvenated my love for the sport because there's no egos in the clubhouse at all. And like to me, Uribe closing games at the end of the year, if Trevor's fully healthy, he never loses the closing job, and it's not even a question who's throwing the 9th inning for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah.
But McGill has his thing pop up. Uribe steps in and does a great job. And McGill, when he goes and sits in the office with the coaches and he says he's healthy, the first thing he tells them is throw me whenever you want. Don't worry about what inning it is. I'm ready to pitch. And it's like there's not guys out there like that. Because McGill's going into arbitration, right? He's trying to make as much money as possible. But instead of worrying about that, he's just worried about the team winning games. And to me, that's baseball.
And I think the biggest thing from the outsider perspective with McGill was how much of a fire he brought to you guys. Like, speak to his ability to fire a team up like that. This dude's been with the Brewers for a couple huge postseason runs. To come in, I mean, in Game 5 against Chicago, huge inning in the very, very early in the game, gets the whole team fired up, and it felt like it was go time from there.
Yeah, and but before I jump in on McGill, just from y'all's perspective, because I'm super interested, how did you feel after that first inning that McGill threw?
There's no way we lose this game.
No, that was
With him
that was the
hyping up the
exact.
crowd,
Yeah,
we were gonna win.
Ryan and I shared that same sentiment. Like when we watched that game together, and we both like didn't say it out loud, but it was kind of like that was kind of the like, let's go. Like this might be the game.
Yeah, it felt like a save in the first inning to me. Like when he was walking off the mound, going into that game, I was like, okay, we're at home. Our crowd is nuts. Like that was the loudest stadium. Game 1 and 2 and Game 5 were the loudest stadium I've ever seen. Like Wrigley gets crazy loud, and the Freddie chants were something that will live in my brain forever.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, like going into that Game 5, I was like, okay, we got this. Like we got the right arms available. Like we're ready to go. But there's still that doubt, right? Like we just got beat twice, and we got beat pretty handily in Chicago. And when McGill threw that first inning and punched out Tucker, and he like let everybody have it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It was like, we're in control of this game now.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling.
For sure.
And I feel like, if it's Miguel, if it's Uribe, if it's Mears, I call these guys lunatics, psychopaths, and I mean that in a very positive way.
Yeah.
And I mean, these guys show it. They show the emotion. They get people fired up big time, and I love that. Is there anybody in that clubhouse or in that bullpen with you that's kind of a secret psychopath?
As far as secret psychopath, it's McGill's the obvious one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's one of those dudes where he'll catch you complaining. I'm definitely a victim of it. Aaron Ashby is the exact opposite. Aaron Ashby's like, they have to convince him not to throw.
Yeah.
But like I'm a victim of it where like I'll go 2 or 3 and there's a lineup that has a ton of righties and not a lot of lefties, and I'm like, you know what? It wouldn't be the worst thing to have the day off today. And so I'll mention something like, yeah, let's keep me out of it today. And McGill will just like look right at me and be like, no, you're getting the ball and you're going to throw a fucking 0. And he'll just turn around and walk off. And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, as far as secret ones go, to me, it's the most quiet one is Grant. Grant doesn't say anything. He doesn't complain. Like he'll get warmed up 2 or 3 times, which as a reliever is very hard. Like we call it getting dry humped. But when you say it in a non-baseball context, it does not come off good. But I will tell you, like when you get dry humped, it is because your adrenaline pops, and so you're after that you can't get your adrenaline to pop again. So adrenaline is the best thing that relievers use. Is like your body feels terrible. They say, hey, get Rob Z going. And as soon as that phone hangs up, you just feel this like shot of adrenaline in you, and you start feeling like, oh, I don't feel as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
But once you warm up once or twice, you lose all of the adrenaline. Like you take that adrenaline shot and it's gone. And so you're basically pitching on what you actually feel, which as relievers you never feel that good. And so Grant's the only one that is down there where he'll get dry humped. Okay, put Mears in, sit Grant down, and Grant will just quietly put his hoodie on and sit down, and then just continue watching the game or continue on whatever conversation he was having. Whereas the rest of us are like, we got the adrenaline shake, and we're just sitting there like trying to keep some of that adrenaline. We're sitting there like trying to process what just happened. Grant's just kind of a lunatic. He's like, all right, whatever. And like those guys are the scariest ones to me.
For sure. You mentioned Ashby as a guy that, he doesn't say a whole lot of, oh yeah, I can't pitch today. Do you feel that was kind of the case throughout the postseason? We saw him a lot. Ryan and I were both like, it feels like Murph is trying to put down Ashby. Like he was throwing every single day, and he continued to just deal. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. He is stuff-wise one of the greatest pitchers I've ever seen. Like just
Agreed.
left-handed, over-the-top sinkers. Like if he's in the zone, he's hard to hit. His biggest issue for me is he just always is ready to go. And like it's the same thing. Like there's a tweets about after we went down 2-0 or whatever to the Dodgers, they're like, okay, Ashby game 3, we'll go Ashby game 4, and then Ashby game 5. And I was laughing because it's funny, but he would have done it. Like the kid just, and I asked him about it in LA. I was like, Aaron, how do you have this mindset, dude? Like, I love pitching. It's one of my favorite things in the world. That's why I do what I do. But there are times where, like I said, I want a day off. I'm like, man, please don't put me in the game. Or I go down there and we have a hot tub on the wall. And if your picture's in the hot tub, it means you're hot, you're ready to go. And then next to the hot tub, we have a beach. And if you're on the beach, it means you have the day off. It means kick your feet up, watch the game. You're not going in there no matter what happens. We'll throw a position player first. And every time we get out there and Ashby's on the beach, he's lobbying to get put back in the hot tub. And it's like, it is amazing to see. So I asked him, and he was like, I don't know, man. He's like, I don't know how many years I'm going to play baseball. He's like, there's a finite amount we can play. He's like, and there's nothing I love more than throwing a baseball. So why wouldn't I do it every single day? And it's like, I have so much admiration for someone like that. And he truly, every time they asked him, he was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And he never complained. He never was like, oh, I'm sore, or never asked for a day, especially in the postseason. He was like, if you need me, I'm there. And like, those are the guys you want to build your team around.
I feel like it's guys like him that led to so much success, is that all of them just wanted to win tonight, go 1-0 each day, and that led them to 97 wins. I got to ask you, Ashby has had experience starting, of course, opening. You don't have as much experience with the starting jobs, but is it easier to be in the bullpen or to start?
As far as like full starting or opening?
Full starting.
I think it's mentally harder to be a bullpen guy because you're available every single day. But dude, throwing 170 some innings in a year and like riding the highs and lows, like watching Quinn Priester is a great example this year. Yeah. On his start day, he has his routine. Like we lived in the same apartment complex, and so I would stare out my window. I'd be up with my son, and I'd look out my window, and I would see Quinn and his girlfriend on a walk every day around 9 o'clock, like almost like clockwork. They'd go get a coffee. They'd go grab breakfast. He'd come home. He would do everything he needed to do that day. We'd have a 7:05 game. And so starting at 9 o'clock from when he got out of bed, he made sure he had breakfast. He made sure he had lunch. He made sure he got to the field at 2. He'd sit in his chair until 3. And then 3, he's going to prep. And it's like the actual start day, dude, that stuff is, there's so much anxiety and so much pressure. And it's like Ohtani and Bieber are thrown today, correct?
That sounds right.
Yeah. Do you understand the amount of pressure those guys have to go 7 innings today?
Especially after last night. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of those where like they showed Ohtani in the clubhouse, and they're like, "We got Ohtani throwing tonight. Like we have another game tonight," was what Dave Roberts said, and Ohtani was like giddy and excited, and it's like he's the greatest for a reason, but there's so much pressure on Ohtani. Like if he goes and has like a 36 pitch first inning, the guys in the bullpen are going to be stressed out the rest of the game, and it's like there's so much pressure on both of those guys to throw at least 6 innings tonight, and so. As far as starting goes, I think it is harder on your body because you're throwing more. Being a reliever, it's just like you're doing a bunch of sprints over and over and over again. But being a starter is just one long marathon that doesn't end until the season ends. So they both have their different challenges. I'm a failed starter for a reason. So it is very hard to be a starter in the big leagues.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to hear. Talking about, being in the bullpen, what's it like on an off day, just chilling in the bullpen, watching the game with the guys?
It is the greatest day in the whole world. It's like when you guys show up to a baseball game, you're like excited to be there, right? You're like, okay, let's go grab a hot dog, let's grab a beer, whatever it is, and let's go sit and watch the boys play. It's the same, but I have a sick view, and I'm still in that zone, right? Like I still get to hear the phone ring. I still get to do all that stuff. It's my favorite day in the world because you earned it, right? Like you don't get days off unless you earn them. And it's a great feeling. Like you go out there, I threw 3 of 4. And my third outing, I threw 4 or 5, the last one being in San Diego. And so they came up to me the next day. They're like, hey, absolutely no way you're going in the game today. And there's like this sense of pride you have where it's like, man, like, because if you would have told me, hey, you're going to throw 4 the next 5 days, I'd be miserable. I'd be like, dude, are you serious? But then once you do it, once you're in it and you finished it, you're like, I picked up the boys. Like, I was a huge reason all these guys are rested today. And like, there's a sense of pride in that for sure. Like Ashby did it a couple times where he would finish the game early in the year. We'd go starter for 6, Ashby for 3, and they would give him the next day off. And like, we're all fresh. Everyone else in the bullpen is feeling great. And then we have 2 really good games. And that's all because Aaron Ashby finished the game and we didn't have to, go throw me and Grant and Mears to finish the game. We just went straight to Ashby. It's the same with like Quinn. Quinn would throw like 7 innings, and we'd all, like every single bullpen guy after the game that walked in would come dap Quinn up and be like, dude, thank you. And so like being down as a starter, you're always prepping for the next outing. As a reliever, you can kind of just take a day off. Like you don't even play catch. You just go out there and you stand and shag BP for a round, and then you go sit in your locker and wait for game time.
I mean, you mentioned earlier how much you just love Milwaukee, how much you love being here, and I'd say this year, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd say this was a career year for you. And I feel like we've seen this over and over again in Milwaukee, where pitchers, maybe not well known or struggling or whatever, come to Milwaukee, they pitch great, they become a household name in Milwaukee. I mean, what did this team do to help you get better? And maybe what do you think they do to help all these pitchers get better?
The story I always tell is I was in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's great. Like they gave me my first shot to be in the big leagues for an extended period of time, and I loved it there. I developed this hard slider thing that I throw. I call it a cutter, just mindset wise, but it's truly a hard slider. And I wanted to throw it a little bit more in Pittsburgh, but they're like, dude, your sweeper grades out better. You're only facing lefties. Just throw your sweeper like 50% of the time. But the problem I ran into is I couldn't land my sweeper in zone as much. And so that next offseason, I get DFA'd. I'm going through free agency. The Brewers called and they're like, hey, we want to have a meeting with you. And it's Jim Henderson, Chris Hook. It's everybody that's in charge. And I was like, okay, kind of a big deal. It's nice for a minor league free agent. I was like, it's cool that they're all on this phone call. And they were like, hey, before we start this meeting, what do you want to do in your career? Like, what's the next step for you? They're like, you're an average big leaguer right now. They're like, all your numbers point to you have like a 0 WAR. You're straight down the average line. Like you couldn't be more average. What do you think you need to do to be above average? And I was like, well, the things that I want to lean on right now is I need to get righties out better. I have this hard slider thing. I threw it like 50 times last year. I call it a cutter. I want to throw it like 30% of the time. I think I can get righties out with it, and I think I can get lefties off balance and off the sweeper with it. And Jim Henderson, who I actually played with before he retired, he was like, well, I guess this isn't going to be as long as of a meeting as we thought. And he just scrolled through the PowerPoint to page 10, and it was like up cutter usage to 40%. And I was like, dude, like they see these things before anybody else does. They see this like, okay, this is something that can work, and they put it up to the player, right? So instead of being like, hey, we can add 6 inches of horizontal on Rob's sweeper, which is hard to do. They say Rob throws a vert fastball. If he throws the ball up in the zone more and he throws a sweeper off of that, mixes in the cutter, he can be great. Those are all things he has done and can do. We just need him to do it more. And then they go grab that guy. And it's the same with Freddie. It's like Freddie throws his fastball all the time. They go, Freddie, to take the jump from being a quote unquote third starter to being an ace, he needs more off speed stuff. He's shown us that he can throw it. He just doesn't throw it a lot. Let's talk to him in the offseason. Let's do it. And then you saw what Freddie did this year. Like he's flipping in 70-mile-an-hour curveballs. He's throwing his changeup 20% of the time. And now Freddie is, in my opinion, a top 10, 15 pitcher in all of baseball. And it's just these small things that are not unachievable. They're not saying, hey, throw 7 miles an hour harder. Hey, be more, like, don't miss in this zone. Always hit this. Like, that's unrealistic. Like, you're going to miss spots. You're going to do this. But where can we guide them to where they're their best version of themselves with something they can do? And it's a simple thing to do, but not a lot of teams do it. A lot of teams are like chasing the white whale. It's like, man, if we like teams have told me this in free agency, if we can add 3 miles an hour to Rob's fastball, he's an above average reliever. Man, I've tried. Like I'm getting I'm getting older every year. I'm 33 years old. Like I will continue to chase velocity until the day that I die, but I'm not going to be a guy who sits 95. And the Brewers were the first team that called me. They're like, dude, screw that. They're like, throw as hard as you can. But if it's 91, great. We'll use this to make your 91 feel like 95, 96. And it's just a very simplified way of saying that they take what you're good at or what you're capable of, and they make you believe that you can do it all the time.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to hear that about, our organization. And we've talked about it with prospects too that have come in to the Oregon. They hear it right away, right? They meet you where you're at, which is such a cool thing to hear. You were up and down a lot this year. You were thrown right into important September baseball. What's the mentality going into September, knowing that you're going to have to eat innings in a big spot?
I think it usually, because I've been on, like you said, the World Series team with Chicago, and it's like those guys all had their roles, and then mine was like pick and choose when he throws, maybe throw long relief, maybe not. And it's kind of the Brewers, it's you play every single day like it's a brand new day and there's nothing else going on. And it's so refreshing, right? Like when you're playing well, you never get too high. Like if you're on a 12-game hit streak, nobody knows or cares. because it's like that's 12 individual ball games that aren't connected to other ball games. And it's the same with being a reliever. Like I gave up a 3 spot in St. Louis. It was my worst outing of the year by far. And I was sitting in the hotel in St. Louis. This is another thing I wanted you guys and whoever's listening to hear is like when you throw poorly, like people are going to be upset with you. That's fine. But no one's more upset than I am. Like I gave up 3 singles, got taken out of the game, all the runs came in. And it was 3 singles against guys that I could get out if I make a better pitch. Or like I jammed Herrera and he flipped one over short at like 70 miles an hour and it landed between Joey and Isaac. It couldn't have landed anywhere else. And it's like, is that my fault? Probably not. But it's like if I get that pitch, a half inch in, hindsight, whatever. But no one feels as bad as the player. So you're sitting in your hotel room, you're staring at the ceiling, you don't want to watch TV because nothing's making you happy, you're bummed out, whatever it is. And with the Brewers, man, it's like the second I left the field, I got to the hotel and I was like, all right, got to get ready for the game tomorrow. I'm available. And then I showed up and they were like, hey, you're going to probably face this pocket today or tomorrow. Be ready to bail out the starter. And it's like that never happened. It's not like, oh, Rob had a rough outing, let's avoid him. They're like, let's get him right back in there. He's going to do his job for us. And it's like a brand new day of baseball. And that's the refreshing way. And that's the only way to get through a season. Because if you're worried about what you did in April and it's September already, then you're like, if you're chasing something, it's like Jared Koenig. I think you might have said it. He started a little bit slow. I wasn't here for it. I didn't see it. I only saw Jared shove the whole time I was here.
Yeah.
Like he was incredible the whole time that I saw him, but apparently he started slow from what I hear. And if you ask Jared about April, he'd be like, I don't know. Who do we play? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. It's so far in the past. His numbers on the board he doesn't care about. His job is to get a 0 in the 8th inning and help us win a ball game. And it's like focusing on stuff like that helps you get through the tough times, right? Like the September stress where you're trying to clinch a division, you're trying to get that first round bye. If you're box score watching Chicago during the game, you're not going to perform. And so, like, I couldn't tell you how the Cubs played. I just know that one day they're like, hey, you guys won the division. Here's some champagne. And we're like, oh, tight. Like, it's just we were so focused on what's going on in the clubhouse. We don't really care about the excess stuff.
I love that. So did you guys not have a clue, like, when you could or could not clinch until it happened?
You see, like, magic number stuff, and it's like, oh, we're getting close. But it's like, if you were to be like, hey, the Cubs are 5-2 in their last 7 games, I'd be like, oh, okay. Like I have no clue. And I don't know who they're playing coming up. And the funny part is a lot of guys are like, when we're packing to go on a road trip, we know we're going to Cincinnati, but all the guys are like, who do we play after Cincinnati? And it's like, it's part of the road trip, right? Like we're leaving to go to this city and guys are just so focused on who we played today and who we play tomorrow. And guys aren't like, okay, well, we're going to LA after Cincinnati and they have Ohtani. Like nobody's worried about that. And it's so day to day there. And it's super refreshing because if you have a great game, you celebrate it, guys come dap you up. And the next day it's like you didn't play yesterday. And so you don't ride that high where you're like my favorite memory this year is I'm talking to Isaac in the lunchroom and they flash up the rookie of the year odds on the TV because all the TVs are on baseball stuff. And I go, dude, you're 3rd in rookie of the year voting. He goes, are you serious? And he looked, he's like, nice. And then he went back to eating. It was like, dude did not care. Like, it was just like, guys are just in the moment. And that's why they're such a good team.
I love that. I mean, here's another popular Twitter take from a lot of people is that a lot of us thought that you had a good argument to be on the postseason roster. I don't know if you also thought that, and how does that go down? How are you told like, hey man, you're not on the roster?
You guys, you see Murph and the way that he interviews and all the like the way he talks to people.
Yeah.
Murph is genuinely just that person. And to me, that's all I want. Like Joe Madden was the same way. Like Joe Madden was like, I don't care as long as the boys feel sexy and look sexy. I don't care. They can do whatever they want. That's kind of how Murph is. Murph is like funny. He's going to make jokes. He's going to be serious. And when I don't know if I can cuss on this. When you fuck up, he's going to let you know.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be the first person to tell you. Like I had the rough one in St. Louis and I walked into the clubhouse and he was like, hey, get him tomorrow. Not your best stuff today, but no worries. And it's like, he's going to be the first person to tell you when you didn't do your job. And he's going to be the first person to tell you when you do your job well. And so when they decided not to use me on the postseason roster, and me as a competitor, yeah, I did think I belonged on there. I think the Cubs about a month prior to that had made a switch. I think they bounced PCA down to 7 or 6 in the lineup, and so it was like their lefties were 1, 3, and 7, and so not like a super pocket of lefties for me to go attack every single day. And anytime Ashby opened, they moved him down or they moved Bush out or whatever it was. So they did a really good job of making sure the lefties weren't going to beat him, because I think they dealt with that a little bit this year where they were getting beat by like that pocket lefty reliever. And so when they ended up beating San Diego, I kind of had a feeling that I'd be on the fringe. I still thought I'd be a nice little plug and play lefty where it's like 2 outs, Freddie's in the 5th inning, and he's got Tucker on deck. It's like, you know what, let's just get Rob in there to finish the at-bat. But at the same time, you needed length. Like, as you saw, we didn't run starters out there for 6, 7 innings. So me being a 3-hitter guy or like a 1+ maybe, it doesn't add a ton of value to that bullpen. The guy I thought for sure would have been DL Hall, and I think if he was not coming off injury, he would have been a lock for that roster, because DL did everything for us this year. He did pocket lefties, he did long relief, he started, he did everything. And so when I found out that me and him both didn't make it, I felt more so bad for him. But his was just injury timing, right? Like, he put his body on the line and he had the oblique thing, and it didn't time out well. If he would have come back a week earlier and got 3 appearances, he would have been smack dab in the middle of that roster. But yeah, for me as a competitor, I know I belong. I know I can get those guys out. And I know that Murph has thrown me in those spots a lot. And so it's not a lack of trust or anything like that. It's just, it's one of those where it's like, can we use him to help this team win? Absolutely. Is adding him to the roster going to put us in jeopardy of finishing the ball game because he doesn't throw long? Probably. And so it kind of ended up being me and a couple other the real short relievers off.
Yeah, in the same vein of that, that's a different perspective to not be playing on that field as you do for 162 games. What was this playoff run like, kind of playing from that like dugout bullpen role?
It was cool, and to me it was cool because I wasn't dressing out for the game, but I still felt the same stress, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way too. And Jake Arrieta actually said this the other day. They interviewed him at one of the Chicago games that he was at, and he was like, dude, I'm more nervous as a fan than I ever was as a player. And that's kind of how I felt, man. There was like 2 or 3 times I got up and I just walked into the clubhouse because I was like, I can't watch this happen. And it's like, I cannot watch my boys either have something bad happen to them or have to go through a stressful situation. Like, it was so hard for me to watch. And so it was kind of a nice learning experience where I was like, I had to control my breathing and my heart rate as someone who wasn't even playing. And I really felt like a fan there. Like, I was riding the highs and I was riding the lows way more than I would as a player.
Let's talk about that NLDS. You yourself being a Cubs draft pick, win a World Series with them. It was very popular after it happened, but Trevor Miguel went and held up that L flag. How did that make you feel as a former Cub?
Me and my wife talked about this. So she loved Chicago. I love Chicago. They treated me super well. There's nothing bad about that organization that I could ever say. And that's coming from them who DFA'd me, released me, reacquired me this offseason, and then DFA'd me again before spring training started. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I've been fired 3 times by those guys, and I still hold no ill will towards them at all. I talked to my wife about it when they, I think someone suggested, they're like, yo, somebody go grab that L flag, and then somebody ran over and grabbed it, and nobody really wanted to hold it up. And then Trevor, who had also been DFA'd by the Cubs, and in not like a disrespectful to the Cubs way, held up the L flag because he was like, we won the series. And to me, it felt more like, for the Brewers fans, for like the Cubs Brewers fans were going at it all week. Like, there's let's go Cubs chants, let's go Brewers chants fighting each other. Wrigley was crazy. AmFam was crazy. Like, it was just like a, we won the series type thing, and take it as that. But it's like, to me, like, nobody on the team hates any individual player on the Cubs, but they played us hard and they wanted to win and send us home, and we wanted to send them home. And it's like, that's baseball. And the other thing too is I've been on the other side of it. Cubs fans hate Brewers fans. And when I was on the Cubs, I was like, yeah, Brewers fans are annoying. You're right. And then I get to the Brewers and I'm like, they're not that annoying. Cubs fans are also kind of annoying. It's like, you start to get these other sides of it. And it's just like, whatever fuels the fans, the way that series was, to me, felt like Game 7 of the World Series when I was there. Like, it was just tension all over the place, like nerves. loud, emotional. Like it was just such a great series. When I'm done playing, I'll talk about that series a lot because it's like there was no environment quite like the environments we had there. And so if that fuels the rivalry, great. If that makes the fans cheer louder at Wrigley, great. If it makes them cheer louder at American Family Field, awesome. Like it's just that's how I took it, really.
Yeah, you mentioned that 2016 Cubs team. Talk about the Jason Hayward rain delay. This is like a big thing that's talked about. You answered it on a podcast. I like your answer. I'm interested to hear more about it.
Well, there's kind of two sides to it now. So I did an interview probably a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, with a guy who's writing a book about it. And it's so far removed now, and I was talking to my wife about this as well. I've gotten to the point in my career where I've played so long that early parts of my baseball career are starting to like fade. Like I still remember the huge moments, but it's like I used to be able to remember what David Ross would tell me between innings of a start when I was throwing to him. I'd be like, oh, I remember he was like, you need to get the ball down or whatever. Now I have no recollection of the small things like that. Like all the day-to-day stuff, it goes away. But that rain delay meeting I have a pretty vivid memory of because I was off roster, but I was a Schwarber limp away from being back on the roster that whole time. Because if he was going to go down, it was going to be me or Trevor Cahill added to the roster. And so I was a little bit more locked in as far as like I had to play catch, I had to do my plyos, I had to throw in the bullpen, I had to throw lives to hitters in between to stay ready. So whenever the rain delay happened, I was walking up to the clubhouse and I was like, I'm just going to go sit in the corner and just stare at the wall because I was so stressed. And they kind of like wheeled us into the old weight room. I don't know what it is now. I haven't been to Cleveland in a couple of years, but it was the old weight room, and we go in, and Davey Martinez was our bench coach, and he was like the liaison between us and the staff. Like he was great. Like if we ever had any gripes or anything, he would go to the staff and be like, "Hey, so and so's unhappy about this. We need to fix it right now." One of the best bench coaches I've ever had. Him and Ricky Weeks are similar. Like you can talk to Ricky about anything in the world, and if you tell him, "Hey, this stays between us," it stays between us. If you say, "Hey, go tell Murph I'm unhappy with my usage," he'll walk right into Murph's office and be like, "Hey, he's unhappy with this." Like it's just. He's the guy to talk to. And Murph's easy to talk to too, but he's busy. He's doing media. He's doing a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's easier to grab Ricky and be like, hey, when you see Murph, tell him to stop throwing me for 2 innings, whatever it is. And so Davey's like sending guys in. And so Davey walks in and Hayward like grabs him. He's like, Davey, not this time. And I was like, whoa, this is strange. Like Davey's usually a part of everything we do as players. And so he sends Davey on his way. And he just sits there and he just simplifies it, right? Like we talked about how the Brewers simplify a lot of things. That's what Jason Hayward did in that moment, because I don't know if you guys feel the same way. There's just so much excess going on outside of what you actually need to do, right? As a hitter, you step into the box, see ball, hit ball. But there's also like, okay, runner, I need to move him over. He throws a lot of curveballs. He might throw me a curveball. Like there's so many excess thoughts. And Hayward just simplified it down to, Schwarber, you need to get on base any way possible. We're going to pinch run for you, whatever. But his whole message was, we do this as a team. He was like, everybody here got us here for a reason. He's like, everybody in this room is one of the reasons we're in Game 7 of the World Series. I don't care how small or big you thought your role was, you were part of this. And he was like, nobody else is going to write the story of the Chicago Cubs except for the people in this room. He's like, everybody else outside of this room, they're a huge part. Our nutritionists, our strength coaches, our Joe Madden, whoever, they're all huge parts of this thing. The story of the 2016 Chicago Cubs is going to be written by the people in this room. And once he said that, it was like, you're right. Like we control our own destiny. And that was the most motivating speech I had ever seen in my life. Because it wasn't like he was like, let's go kill him. Like what? It wasn't anything like that. It was just like, this is our time. He was like, this is our moment. Nobody else's moment, nobody in the stands, no media, no coaches, nothing. Their moment is past. The next however many innings we play are going to be played by the guys in this room, and we're going to play it. And he essentially broke down what we were going to do. And it happened almost exactly how he predicted it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do the Cubs win it without that speech?
Absolutely not. And like you can definitely win, but it's like, I talked to some of the other guys in the other room, and I saw it from the media and stuff, and like not going to talk about what they did, but they went up and they got on their phones and they scrolled to see how long the rain delay was going to be, and then they texted their wives and they're like, hey, like this game's crazy or whatever it was. I don't think we ever got up to the clubhouse. So it's like we never stopped playing. We were in the moment. We didn't have to check back in. We didn't have guys going like run up and down the line and stretch or anything like that or whatever. Like we ate some protein bars in the weight room, and they went right back out there and played. And it's like the game never stopped. And from my perspective, it really didn't. Like, it's not like we were sitting out there, oh, it's still raining, like trying to figure things out, or when are we going to play this game? It's like everybody stayed exactly locked into what they needed to do, and then they executed it.
Was there a certain moment or game this year that had you personally or the clubhouse believing like, hey, we can actually win it all?
Unfortunately, I wasn't there for the games where it happened. It was that 14 game win streak.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I was sitting on my phone watching these games, and me and my wife were texting back and forth. I was in Nashville on a rehab assignment, and we were texting back and forth, and I was like, this is the most absurd thing I've ever seen. And to me, it was the Monasterio game, the one where he hit the homer.
Yep.
I think Miz started the game, DL came in, and it was like came back from whatever 8-1 deficit. It's like the comeback's great in general or whatever, but it's like, you know how easy it is to cash out a game in August?
Yeah.
You know, fuck, dude, we're down 8-1. Like, everybody get some stats. Everybody go try to hit a pump or two. Like, let's just get our stats up. Maybe steal a bag. And it's like every single dude in that clubhouse, from what I'm told, was like, how do I get it to the next person? And every reliever was like, how do I get it to the next person? And it's so hard to have good at bats that way. And it's like, you can talk about the Brewers, how like once we clinched, we didn't play quite as well. And a lot of that, it isn't because guys weren't trying. Like, everyone's trying. You have to. You got money on the line. You got your future on the line. You got your family to take care of. What it is the way Brewers win baseball games is wearing down the opposing pitcher, making their life hell when they're on the base pass. And it's like most of our guys, like Churio and Sal, pretty much had the red light all of September because they're banged up. And it's like, hey, we don't want you guys stealing bags and getting hurt because we have the playoffs to look forward to. So it took away like a layer of the game that we play. And that was kind of what I attributed to, right? Like, it's, hey, we got Sal who's going to fight a 15 pitch at bat, steal second base, jump around, try to distract the pitcher, and somebody's going to drive him in. But instead, Sal would get on first base, and he's not really running because his body's hurt. Like, Sal played every single game as hard as you could possibly play a baseball game. And it's like, it just took away kind of a level of that. And it's like the 14-game win streak, it took so many things to go right. And so many different people had to do it. And that's when it showed me where it's like, anyone can step up at any given moment. This team can actually do something special.
Yeah, I think that was around the time that Ryan and I were also in that same boat of like, whoa, like this is for real. That Monasterio game in specific. I want to talk about that Sal double play because that's one of the craziest things that I've ever seen. I was in the stadium for it. It was me and my pops, and both of us are like, what just happened? What was your perspective during that?
I was pretty much as confused as the Dodgers were. Because in my opinion, like from what I saw, he caught the ball, brought it back, dropped it on the ground. And so it's like, okay, like they're going to get a run. We'll move on from that. And it's like they showed the replay on the board. And once you saw the ball hit the yellow part, I was like, wait, I think that's a double play. And once that thought hit, like we were pretty sure. But like as they were talking, they talked for a long time too. It's just one of those where like it didn't work out this way. But I was like, dude, these are the things that change tides in games. These are the things that like you can kill some momentum for sure. And it didn't end up working out that way. That Dodgers team is good, man. And like the Brewers team is good and the Blue Jays are good and the Mariners are good and all these teams are good. But it's like when teams like the Dodgers are playing the way that they should, it's like you need a miracle to win. And not like you can't, but it's just you need to beat them 4 times and they're playing solid baseball. You need them to either stop playing solid baseball or you guys need to do something crazy. And that was like the first crazy thing I'd seen where it's like, there's something crazy. Now let's go win a ball game.
Yeah.
I personally thought that we're going to win it after that. I'm like, there's no chance we're ever going to lose again, that this team's going to win it all. And I mean, something like that happens that truly, I don't know if that play's ever happened in baseball history. It's like, yeah, we're going to win a World Series.
Yeah.
I think
go on.
I was going to say, I think my favorite part of that play is Contreras waddling over to the third and stepping on third and being like, I think we got him. And like, everybody's like, yeah, I mean, I think you got him too.
Yeah. He took off over there and we're all like, what is Contreras doing? And I don't know. He knows baseball so much more than people give him credit for. Like that dude he's always looking at how he can improve his game behind the plate. He's always out thinking the hitter. And the best part about William is I play with his brother too, and Wilson kind of had this too, is like he welcomes the moment. And it's like seeing him in the playoffs doing what he did, like he was barreling everything. Him and Churio were two of the best hitters in the playoffs I'd ever seen. And it's like they're two guys too. And I say this about Yelich, and it's one of my favorite things about Christian Yelich is he's very down to earth. He's one of the best superstars on this planet. Like there's stars, superstars, whatever. A lot of the superstars have so much media and so much stress and so much stuff going on in their lives that they kind of go into a shell, right? They're like, hey, I'm going to get to the field, do my job, and go home, because they can't really go to the grocery store. They can't go out to eat. So they stop really being like a human being, and they start really just being a superstar in the MLB. And they do a great job of it. Yelly's just a human. Like he's just a dude that's chilling in the clubhouse before the game. You ask him to go somewhere, he'll go with you. Like he loves to talk to everybody. He treats everybody as if they're on the same level as him. Like he's a great dude. The thing with Yelich is he gets pitched so much harder than everybody else. And so people are like, he didn't hit this time, or like he hit 250 this year or whatever. It's like there's 55 instances that I can think of. Like Sonny Gray, to me, Sonny Gray doesn't throw changeups to lefties hardly ever. He threw 7 to Yelich in one game. And it's like Yelich gets pitched so hard. And the thing that I'm trying to say is Yelich is getting pitched like he's a superstar. William was getting pitched like he's a superstar. Churio was getting pitched like he's a superstar. And Churio and William and Yelly were all putting together really good at bats and doing their thing. And it's like, those are 3 guys that if I could build my team around any team in the world, and you're like, these are the 3 guys you have to build around, hell yeah. Give me all 3 of those guys, and I'm going to start them every single day I can, and we're going to go win some games.
I feel like William just has some of the best baseball IQ ever. I mean, just the smallest stuff. And I'm sure you've noticed this, obviously, as a pitcher. My favorite thing he does is when he kind of fake chases the ball. He takes a couple steps behind home plate. I don't think it's ever worked, but I love it every time he does it.
One day it will.
Yes.
And we're going to be like, dude, he set that thing up so well. Or one day he's going to have a pass ball that gets halfway away from him, and he's going to bail, and the runner's not going to go because they're going to be like, no, he has it. And it's like, such a small, and like that's the edges the Brewers get, right? Like they do so many small little things that don't amount to anything. Maybe they happen 3 times in a season, but 2 of those times it gives us a run, and one of those times we win the game by that 1 run, and that's 1 win. And it's like, that's just how the guys play, man. And William's a perfect example of like, we have scouting reports and we stick to them very heavily. Like I know what I want to do against X player or whatever. There's been 4 or 5 times that William will just go completely off script. Yeah. And I'm like looking at him confused, and he's like, dude, let's go. Like there's one time in Cincinnati, I came in, runner on first. It was Savali's runner. I gave up an immediate single to Connor Joe. So first and second, no outs, tie baseball game in the 5th. And I'm like, dude, this is a fucked up situation. Like, how am I going to get myself out of this? We have 3 righties coming up. It's like Jose Trevino, Espinal, and then a pinch hitter going to come up. So I'm like, so now I got to face 3 righties to bail me out of this situation. And William goes splitter, which I hadn't thrown in game yet. I was just messing around with it. And he's like, splitter. And I like come set, and the shot clock's running down. I'm like, fuck, I'll just throw it. Who cares? So I throw it, swing and miss. And I'm like, oh, thank God that worked. And he goes splitter again. And I was like, dude, you have got to be kidding me. And so I throw it again. I end up punching Trevino out. And I was like, oh, that was kind of nice. Then Espinal comes up and he goes splitter. And I was like, dude, like I just made this pitch up 3 weeks ago. I haven't even thrown this thing in a game yet. And he's like, yo, we're going to throw this thing 10 times. And we get out of the inning and he comes in. He's like, nice, trust that shit. And he walks off. And it's like I wouldn't have done it on my own. And honestly, if it was Eric Haas, I would have been like, you know what, Eric, I'm good. No. And not that Eric's great, but it's like me and him have worked, and like genuinely, I'm just a little bit afraid of William. And so when he called it, I was like, I'm not going to shake him twice. So, okay, I'll throw it. And he did the same thing his brother did to me once, and I loved it. Is same with the backdoor cutter. I wasn't throwing the backdoor cutter a ton, and I'm facing Royce Lewis, I think his name, the guy from the Twins.
Yep.
And he calls a backdoor cutter, and I shake. And he calls it again, and I don't have time to shake again, so I have to throw it. And so goes backdoor cutter again, I shake, I want to go fastball in. He goes backdoor cutter again, I throw it. The next time he didn't even put a sign down. He was just like, let's go. Like he did not call anything on the pitch comm. I'm waiting for him to call it. His glove is up, back, down, and away to a righty. and he wasn't going to call it because he was mad I shook him. So I threw it, struck him out. After the inning, he was like, "Hey, throw that shit," and he walked away. I was like, "All right, dude." Like it's not in the scouting report. I hadn't thrown it yet, and he's just like, "You're going to throw it 3 times in this situation right now," and that's the kind of stuff that helps.
Is that kind of his game though? Like, is that a general thing for a lot of the pitchers on the Brewers? Is just like, I mean, yeah, he does his research. Like, I'll trust him, or is it more of like, yeah, I'm like not 100% sure that this guy is like, he isn't gonna kill me. Like, it's just like that pure fear of him.
There's a couple guys that are like, you know what? I'd rather just throw this and not get in an argument with William. But he's such a nice guy every time you talk to him. Like, he's done absolutely nothing to make me want to think he's going to fight me. But there's just that little bit of edge to him where I'm like, if he gets mad enough, he might yell at me in front of everybody and it's going to hurt my feelings. But we're just taught with the Brewers. It's another thing to go with the Brewers. We're just taught to trust everything that we do. And it's amazing because, like I said, I invented this little splitter thing with the Yankees. And when they traded for me, I explained it to him. I showed him I had it. I threw it a couple times to William before a game one day. And he was like, "Yeah, I like it. That thing's good. Throw it." And it's like, that's the Brewers. Or it's like backdoor cutter. We love it. I'm like, "Well, I haven't really done it." They're like, "Who cares, dude? You're nasty." And I'm like, "You're right. I'm going to do it."
Yeah.
And they just convince you to do these things. And same with like a guy like Durbin. It's like Durbin's like, "Am I a good big leaguer?" And they're just like, "Yeah, dude, you're great. Your shit plays. Go out there and just be Caleb Durbin every single day until we tell you otherwise." And then at the end of the year, you're like, "Okay, Caleb Durbin's an above average baseball player." Like it just happens so fast.
Yeah, it's cool to hear that about Derb. I worked up in Fond du Lac for the Dock Spiders, where he played for the Northwoods League. So he came back and he talked to the team, and I got to be in there for that. And like the same thing of like the first thing he said was like, "You wouldn't look at me in this room and think that I am the big leaguer. Like, you just wouldn't." And like that was just kind of the guy he was, and it's so cool to hear that it's the same dude.
Yeah. No, he's the best. And if I got to run and give my son a bath here in about 5 minutes, but whatever question you guys have for me about Brewers or whatever, just if you were saving one, throw it at me now. I'm ready for it.
I got to ask about Uke stories. I just need one.
Uke story. So I wish I would have spent a little bit more time with him. The one Uke story I'll tell is he came into the clubhouse. We just had a pretty rough game right before the playoffs last year. And Yelich isn't feeling his best. He's just kind of like back stuff, wants to play, knows he's not going to play or whatever. He's not in the best mood possible. And it's like his second Uke walked into the clubhouse. It's like Christian just saw his best friend again. And like he just has a way of like, no matter what the situation is, he just brings the humanity back into wherever you're at. Because there are times like we'll lose a big game, we'll just sit in the clubhouse for 10 minutes in silence. And it's like, you're just mad you lost or whatever, but he just finds a way to like, as soon as you saw him, you were like, this is bigger than baseball. Like, Uke's here. Let's go chat it up with Uke. And it's like having that emotional impact on an entire team. And he wasn't even trying to. He was just himself. And like, those are my favorite. I wish I would have spent a little bit more time with him. I was only with the team for 2 months last year, and then obviously this whole year. But the way everybody talked about him and the way that like him as a person is him as a person. I think everybody knows enough about Uke, but like what he made you feel as a baseball player was something that I had never seen before. Like he just like, as soon as he walked into a clubhouse, training staff, everybody knew him. He would talk to everybody, the clubbies, like anyone you could think of, he'd walk over, say them by name, talk to them for 2 or 3 minutes and walk on. Like it didn't matter who you were. And like, there's very few people who are like that because he didn't have a lot of time. Like you walk into a clubhouse, you have 20 minutes. And he'd spend 10 of them talking to the chefs in the kitchen. It's like he doesn't care who it is, dude. He's like, "Hey, what's going on? The food was great today, man." Then they'd be bullshitting about seasonings and stuff. Like he just could talk to anybody and make anyone feel better about themselves. Every interaction I had with him, I left feeling better about myself. And not a lot of people have the power to do that.
I can't think of a better way to end it than talking about Euchre, so I'm good with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to another one. As always, you can find us anywhere you find your podcast, anywhere on social media. Next time you buy from Banker Co., be sure to use code PACKED for 15% off your next purchase. Rob, thank you for joining us. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again before season or spring training because I do like talking Brewers, man. It is the most fun I've ever had playing baseball.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to another one. We will see you in the next episode.